Howdy friends, back with another Diablo 2 Runeword video. This time I want to talk about another favorite runeword in Diablo 2 of mine, that of course being Treachery. First off, let's actually break down what is Treachery. So, it is a runeword made from Shale Thul Lem in body armor, so it doesn't have a super high requirement, the Lem rune being the most expensive thing, which if you've done, really just kind of played through Hell, I think these aren't super rare to come across. I think if you do something like the Hellforge, or even just farming, I don't know, LK chests or chaos runs and stuff like that, a Lem rune is something that you will come across fairly regularly, in my opinion. So pretty low cost. The item level requirement for this is only level 43, which is relatively low considering what you actually get for it. And while it is what I'll call inexpensive in terms of rune, if you put this in something like a really great base for your mercenary, you can get huge defense benefits, especially when we start breaking down some of what you actually get from this build. So when you make Treachery, I'm going to just be flashing stuff on the screen. So this is what it ultimately results in. So whatever your base is, that damage will be what it is. And then you'll get, at the top here, 5% chance to cast level 15 Fade when struck. So Fade is something that boosts all of your resistance, and the time is roughly about 5 minutes. So it's a pretty decent amount of time. A lot of people use this as, if you're doing something like Ubers, if you're using it for yourself, you can basically put this on, go stand in a flame somewhere. Tristram is pretty common that a lot of people do. Go stand in a flame, wait for Fade to proc, which is Fade is also an assassin skill, so assassins do just have Fade, but you basically stand in a flame, wait for it to proc, and then you can switch to your other armor and still receive that increase to resistances. So it's really, really valuable, especially when you have it on something like a mercenary for survivability. I think that's one of the biggest problems that a lot of people deal with when using their Act 2 mercenary when trying to gear it up is survivability. They get one-shotted and it's just a mess. But having something like Treachery with Fade proccing will keep you alive, will keep your mercenary alive and swinging. Next, we have 25% chance to cast level 15 Venom on striking. So that's just going to be flat poison damage. That is, I think I have it up here. I'm trying to see. So basically, at level 15, you will get an additional poison damage added to your attack. So at level 15, it's going to be about 300. I'll pop it up on screen. About 305 to 325 over 288 seconds. So it is pretty cool. It's just extra damage anytime you can get additional damage, especially if you do, again, I'm going to put it in context of the Act 2 mercenary. If you can deal extra damage, that's just going to be great, and it's free. It comes with the cost of your Treachery. Next, we have +2 to assassin skills. This is going to be something that, you guessed it, will only benefit assassins, so this one doesn't really have a lot of application to, let's say, your mercenary or your character, but it is something that can be used for an assassin, and I actually recommend using this if you are an assassin. Just in general, I think the +2 to skills is something that's really beneficial either way. Next, we have probably one of the more important parts of this, outside of, I would say this is the second most important part of this, the 45% increased attack speed. So this is going to be really important if you have something, again, I'll put this in context of an Act 2 mercenary. If you're using something like a spear, like for my Act 2 mercenary, I run an obedience runeword in a spear, so already has really high fast attack speed, and then you're getting additional increased attack speed, just through Treachery. The more you're able to land an attack, the more damage you're able to do over time. So in a lot of cases, a lot of people think, oh, a lot of damage, hit hard, be strong. But in reality, attack speed plays a lot into some of these higher end builds, especially when you have something like 25% chance to cast level 15 Venom on striking. Being able to swing more often and deal more damage more often will always result in better output in your mercenary. Additionally, if you're pairing this with something like an Andes, so essentially life leech, every time you land a successful hit, you steal life and mana. If you can't hit fast enough, that's not really going to do you any good. So trying to increase your attack speed anywhere you can is going to be pretty essential to the survivability of not only yourself in certain cases, but that of your Act 2 mercenary if you choose to use an Act 2 mercenary. Next, we have +20% faster hit recovery, so that's going to be pretty important if, again, I'm putting a lot of this in context of your mercenary. If your mercenary gets hit, basically it reduces the amount of time that it will take for your mercenary to bounce back from a hit. It'll help them get over that. I think it's a 60% chance breakpoint of spending less time stunned, so to speak, from a pretty heavy hit. So anytime you can keep your character, again, attacking, any downtime is bad in terms of survivability for your mercenary or for your character in some cases, as I previously said. Next, we have cold resist plus 30%. Cold resist is just really great to have. I think anytime you get something with additional resistances, it's going to be a good thing, especially in hell where you are naturally just kind of brought down by just being in hell. Anytime you can get additional resistance is going to be great. I would say this isn't the most important part of it, but it is nice for some quality of life, especially, again, for your Act 2 mercenary. If you're tired of hearing me say that, I'm really sorry. I'm almost done. And then finally, we have plus 50% chance extra gold for monsters. That's not going to be something that's super beneficial, especially if you're running something like a Geed's Fortune, where you're already going to be getting some of that increased gold. I guess maybe in the case of a gold find character, like you're running a gold find, like a gold find barb or something, if you have treachery, just any additional gold find is going to be valuable. To each their own. But that is really the overview of treachery. I think it's really important. I think it's pretty low cost. This should be, I would say, if you're in terms of like how to gear your mercenary, I would say stealth would be first, and then you should try and ultimately have treachery be the next thing that you gear for if you're trying to find something, before you get something like a fortitude. I think it's a really great budget option for any mercenary. So I'm going to end this video here, but let me know down below in the comments if I said anything that was wrong, or if you had any other examples of using this. I like to keep this in context of my mercenary, because that's just where I personally use it a lot. But I know there are other applications, especially if you are leveling or something like that, you can use treachery on your character, and there's a lot of value in using treachery elsewhere. So let me know down below in the comments if you're liking these. Are there any other rune words that you want me to talk about and break down for you? If you're liking these videos, a like would go a long way. If you're really liking these videos and consider subscribing, that would also go a really long way. I've met a lot of really cool people making these videos, and it's just been a lot of fun. So I want to hear from you guys, but until then, I will see you on the next one.